Welcome to Open Mic Comedy Night. Give me a round of applause if you've been here for our open mic at Talkaholics. Yeah!
My name is Leslie Cavala. I'm from New Martinsville, West Virginia, originally. Now I live in Wheeling, West Virginia, and I am a financial analyst.
Yes.
This is the worst answer.
Why did you get into comedy?
Whenever I was a kid, I used to stay up and watch half hour comedy hour on MTV. There was a time whenever I thought about doing it. I didn't know what to do though. Like I didn't know how to do it. I was scared to do it.
You eventually decided to do it. What was there anything that changed for you, or you said, "Fuck it"?
I think I was 41.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, if you don't do this now, you will never do this.
So how long have you been doing it for?
A little over 3 years.
What's the best comedy advice you've ever got?
Write what's true. Like write what you know about, because then it's going to always be original.
What advice would you give your younger self?
It would be 100% start sooner.
When would you have told yourself that? How soon?
Probably in college. Although I don't know what I would have talked about.
Yeah, right.
And that's one of the things where I always think, well, maybe I started at the right time. In Morgantown, I always think that I'm going to bomb those shows, and those 20-somethings, those are the best shows that I do. I don't know why. I think they expect me to come out there and make like soccer mom jokes, and mostly they're like, you know, kid drowning jokes. And that's
What's a week in your life as a performer like?
Generally, it is 2 nights a week for me, as many mics as I can hit on those nights, and then I do 1 show on a weekend because I do have a family and they do like to see me. My husband, I brought him back to the Ohio Valley.
How did he feel about that?
Oh my God.
When I brought a now ex, I brought them to the Ohio Valley. And they were from New York.
Okay.
First words out of their mouth was, "It looks like the Hunger Games here, like District 12 of the Hunger Games."
Okay.
12, whatever it was.
See, we're older than you.
Yes.
First words out of his mouth was like, "We're in the deer hunter."
What do you want people to know about the comedy scene in the Ohio Valley?
It is growing, and it wants to grow so bad. I was driving so much to Pittsburgh. All I really wanted was a crappy mic, and so I contacted Exit Zero.
Who's Exit Zero?
Exit Zero is a group of people here in Wheeling. It's Crinjoy, Ron Scott Jr., and Jermaine Lucius, and they produce comedy shows.
What did you expect going in?
What I expected was 3 drunk guys to turn their backs to us in a bar while we told filthy jokes. We ended up having 15 comedians, and this place was packed.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Packed.
The first time.
First time.
Yeah.
I think Wheeling wants comedy. And that's what we want to do, is give them a variety of comedy. We started doing it every other month, and I would have 30 to 35 comedians. And that lasted all the way up until we had to stop for pandemic. And then when we came back the first time, it was insane again.
Do you think there's a difference between a Pittsburgh audience and an Ohio Valley audience?
There are fewer shows, so you get a more eager audience. And I think they are, I don't know if I want to say they're more willing to laugh, but they are more, they're just happy that we are here and telling jokes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They will be silent if they don't like what you're saying. But it's a really supportive crowd.
Are there stereotypes of the Ohio Valley you've come across setting up an open mic or performing that like aren't quite true?
People hear the words West Virginia and they get a certain idea in their head. And then of course I had a couple guys that were they're like, let's go down to West Virginia. And I was like, you know it's not like that. Just come down and see. And I think they expected people not to be as open-minded as they are, and to want all different kinds of comedy. And honestly, those guys came down and were super surprised. They were like, this is an awesome place. And I was like, what was I telling you?
What's it like to help build a comedy scene from scratch?
I guess when I started this, all I was looking for was that mic. I didn't realize that I was going to become part of this community, so much so that I actually sold a house and moved here. I just thought I was going to have this little open mic. I thought it wouldn't work. I didn't realize that we were getting ready to tap into something.
Yeah.
And so it was just like turning over this rock and finding this like wonderful...
There's some good stuff already here.
Just know that if you want to do comedy and you live in Wheeling, you can. it takes some work, but it's here.
What are your own comedy dreams and aspirations?
To just keep going until, you know, I die. This is my shtick, John.
Do you have anything else you want to say to people that are watching this right now?
You didn't know that there was comedy in Wheeling? You do now. Show up at Talkaholics every second Saturday, 10 p.m., and you will laugh. And then maybe you might get on stage, make everybody else laugh.
Because now you have one of the performers here started their own.
Adrian saw what we were doing and is like, well, I want to do this in Weirton. I'm like, yay, let's do this in Weirton. Let's do this, you know, everywhere.
No, I mean, statistically, other than that guy, there should be like 5 groups in there. I know there's some at the bar, but, you know, it is what it is. But,
I'm definitely not supposed to hit this in here, but I don't care.
Did Talkaholics doing a mic have anything to do with you starting this one up here?
100%. Going to Talkaholics and seeing like just all the support of people from the Valley coming out to see comics from the Valley was like, okay. My name's Adrian Richard Ashmore II. I'm not a junior, surprisingly.
Okay, that is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I'm 25 years old and I do stand-up comedy in Weirton, West Virginia.
And where are we right now?
At the Sports Court Lounge in Delhi and Breeze Drive-Thru. I think that's the official name.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those, like, you know, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio. That's like, I feel like people from other states are like, wait, you guys have drive-through beer places? And we're like, yeah, and it's great.
That's a real thing. One of my favorite ones is one of those places, drive-through, deli, all that stuff, cigs, gas. And then they've got this wooden plywood sign, and somebody just like spray painted "Got Farwood" on it.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get into comedy, and how did that happen?
It's always been something that is like came up in conversation with people or something that I've thought about. And I'm like, I could do this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything, I didn't think it was like a feasible dream because, like, you know, I'm from a small town in West Virginia. Like the whole valley is like small dead towns, but it's not. It's like we still have generations of people here who are like coming up. I just want to do something I love, and like doing it here first would be like meaningful, you know. So I like Googled like comedy open mics on the like near me, and it did from like Kansas like all the way to Kansas. Only one place in Pittsburgh answered the phone and was like, yeah, we're doing an open mic this Friday, show up at this time. So the first week I went and saw it, and then the next week I came back and performed, and yeah.
You started the mic here, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what that was like.
So I kind of just fell into it, really. I was like, I don't want to drive to Pittsburgh every time I do comedy.
Yeah.
So like, I just figured I might as well start my own mic. It can't be that hard. It's not that easy, but it turns out it wasn't that hard. The Valley is like, there's everything to do everywhere around us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like not here. So like when there's something going on in the Valley, people show out.
How was the first one?
The first one was great. Everything went smooth.
What did you expect going into it?
Nobody to show up,
of course.
And none of the comics to show up either.
Did people show up?
Yeah, tons of people showed up. Tons of comics showed up, like 25 comics.
That's so many comics.
Yeah.
Where were they all from?
Mostly Pittsburgh and Wheeling. So
Pittsburgh comics drove down to Weirton for the first open mic in Weirton, West Virginia.
Yeah.
What stereotypes of the Ohio Valley do you come across that aren't like quite true?
So a lot of people think everyone's Hicks down here. I mean, like, yeah, we have our Hicks, and we have people like me, and like, I don't know, it's a small town, but like every small town can be as diverse as a big city, you know what I mean? It's just like, we have plenty of people of every ethnicity and every background, and it's like, not just a bunch of hillbillies, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Even though there are plenty of hillbillies. But it's, you know, it's West Virginia, you know what I mean?
That you might not think if you're not from here.
Yeah, it's like like when I was a kid, I hated growing up here.
Yeah.
Like I hated it. Now I'm like very thankful that that I grew up here. It's a very like beautiful area.
Yeah.
There's lots of like, I don't know, there's just like people that you'll meet here, and plus like just the goofiest shit happens to me in West Virginia. Like I was on my way to the Talkaholics mic and I accidentally cut someone off. And I rolled the window down and I said, "Hey man, my bad, I didn't see you there." And he goes, "I was about to cuss you out, brother." "You're good, man, have a good night." I'm like, have a good one, man. It's that West Virginia stuff, man. But
just basic respect.
yeah. It's I don't know. I've always like loved this area, and I just feel like it gets we get ragged on a lot.
What is there anything you want to say to people that might be watching this?
Weirton's a small town, and like we don't really have much going on, but like you should drive out and like have a good night. There's a lot of funny comics that come to my mic from Wheeling, Pittsburgh, and yeah, I just want the scene to grow. Hopefully we can do some showcases in the near future and like get people more time and like put on actual shows. And I would just like to see the scene bud. I feel like it's my baby here, at least, you know.
Yeah.
I know Leslie's scene in Wheeling is very strong, and I'm like, okay, like it was nice to see that. I'm like, if your baby can do good, maybe mine can too.
Yeah,
you know.
yes.
So like, yeah.
Guys, let's